Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to my Minecraft survival world, where today we are getting back to it. We are once again returning to our custom village project, which honestly from this angle kinda looks done until you zoom in and realize there's this big open space next to the town hall. That's what we're going to start work on today. So this is the other half of the village, and admittedly it is the smaller half, but it's still a lot of land to fill out, so this is not all going to be getting done in a single episode here. It's definitely going to be a multi-video project for sure. So really all I want to get done today is just mainly focusing on the planning of the village and the actual layout of it, which is actually what we did for the half behind me here. I basically just got some colored concrete and laid out roughly where I wanted all of the buildings to go, and then got a certain color. I believe I picked yellow, although that doesn't really matter. And I laid out all of the pathways too. So that's going to be the first thing we do today. We are also going to be doing some building today. I have a school design ready to go and I'm really excited to show you guys. But first things first, I have to craft a bunch of colored concrete powder. Hello, by the way, Sting. You can have a pork chop. Don't think you guys have seen this guy in a little while, have you? So here are all of the dyes. And just like that, they are now concrete powder. And of course, we're going to need some extra yellow for our pathways. So I'm just going to grab a few extra stacks of that. Truth be told, guys, I have been procrastinating a little bit with this side of the village because I honestly have no ideas what to build here. Other than a few, give or take, I'm really struggling to think of what I can actually place on this side of the village. But it's okay because I have you guys to help me out, and I'm also not really worrying about the what today. It's more so the where. We're just figuring out the location of all of the buildings. So what I'm going to do is place down some scaffolding. Somehow, I guess we're just going to have to do that first of all. I'm going to make a scaffolding pillar and just give myself a nice place to stand on so I can keep coming back to this, taking an overview, and then going back down and placing in all of the concrete powder. I would usually time-lapse something like this because I think it could be pretty cool, but it's going to be such a boring time-lapse because I think I'm going to spend, 90% of the time just sat on top of this scaffolding pillar thinking of where I want everything to go. Okay, I think I am done here. It's taken me a little while to place all this down, probably too much time, but I was really thinking about what we could do with this whole area here. So let me explain some things. First things first, the yellow concrete powder is of course the main pathways that we're going to be building, and all of the other colored concrete are the shapes of the building, at least rough estimated shapes. These are not going to be the final one. Like, this house isn't going to look like that. Most likely it's just the size and shape just to give me an idea when I do actually come to designing them. And before we go any further, we do have a couple round here just behind the town hall slash meeting hall. I forget what this one is actually meant to be. I think a town hall. So, let me explain what all of these are, because I've actually had some brain ideas, believe it or not, of what could go on a couple of these shapes here, but a lot of them also need some help from you guys. So, whilst we go through all of this, get your thinking caps on and see if you guys can come up with some ideas of what some of these shapes could become. First things first, we have this stretch of 7 houses over there by the 1 inhabitant on this half of the island, that sheep right there. And this is going to become a high street of sorts, just a small handful of very tiny shops, at least in comparison to some of the others we have built here. So I don't know what the shops are going to be, so I need some ideas there, but yeah, that's going to become a high street. This big red building here is going to be turned into an inn for the visitors of the village here to stay in, and I'm thinking those two there maybe could be related to them in some way. I'm not sure how, but yeah, maybe that'll help you guys out if you're trying to think of some ideas. Don't know what this white one is going to be, but if we just head round the back here so we can get a glimpse of behind the meeting hall, town hall, whatever. We have these two buildings, no ideas for them. But these two, I'm thinking I want to make a little bit of a mining area because it was brought to my attention when I started thinking about it that there's actually no mine over in this village. We do have a little cave just over that way a little bit, but inside of there is the dragon egg, so that maybe wouldn't be the best spot to go mining. So I'm thinking what I do with this mound here, or this shape, is turn it into a mound or something else for the miners. Maybe we have to break another entrance into the wall there and lead them off that way. I'm not entirely sure. And then this is just going to be a little building related to the mine 49 to go beside it. We then have this weird shape, which I'm actually going to head back up to the platform here because it's a better view. Don't know what that one's going to be. I don't know what this one's going to be, nor this one, nor this one. But these two, starting with this one here, is going to be another fisherman's house, similar to the one we have just down there. This is meant to be a fishing village, so I don't think it hurts to have a couple of them. And then finally, this shape over here is what we're going to be building today, which is going to be the school. And then I'm thinking just beside it, or behind it, is going to be a little playground for the children. So now all of this is planned out and ready to go, I can now take down my scaffolding tower, which is of course always super satisfying. And then swim around and collect up the pieces in the water, but I do have an abundance of this stuff, so it doesn't really matter if a few pieces despawn. Okay, I think now we are gonna just simply start work on the school. I don't have anything left to do other than a little bit of resource gathering just to get my items needed for this build, but yeah, let's begin on building the village school, and maybe that will entice the villagers to actually breed a little bit and get some children running around in this place here, because I haven't really seen any of that just yet. Whilst we're building the school in the background, I would like to talk to you guys about what's going to be happening with this series over the course of the next few episodes leading up to episode 50, which is actually going to be the world tour. I would ideally like to have this village done by the world tour, so that gives us, including this one, 4 episodes to finish this half of the village, which is a lot of work, but I'm going to try my absolute best to accomplish that. It may mean I have to do some off-camera work here and there, and maybe some stuff in between episodes, but I'll make sure I keep you guys up to date with everything that's happened. But yeah, that's the plan, to get everything done by episode 49, ready for the world tour in episode 50. But some of you are probably wondering, what's going to be happening after episode 50 in the world tour? Well, that will actually go out at the end of May if I keep to my current video schedule, which I most likely would. I don't see why I wouldn't. It's going to be out at the end of May, which honestly is probably getting close to the release of 1.17. So those of you who come to my live streams will have heard me just debate with myself what I actually want to do with the new update, and basically I have 2 options. One is to start a brand new world, never play in this world ever again. Obviously we would maybe come back and visit, but yeah, start a brand new world from completely a fresh start. That's one option. The second option, which at the moment I'm ever so slightly leaning towards, but I'm still very much so undecided, and it's basically to very heavily reset my chunks in this world. Now, providing there will be no weird world borders with the new terrain generation, it would just mean deleting everything that doesn't have a build-in. So I would probably leave our little starter area here and a couple of other places elsewhere in the world, like my mega base and my raid farm, and just a few other builds here and there. But everything else would be completely reset, so we would have the new mountains and the new caves, and I would probably count it as a bit of a season 2, maybe start from episode 1 again, leave all of my items somewhere maybe in an ender chest, and we possibly have to do something to get everything back. But for the while we start, it will be just like in a brand new world, and we won't return to our current location here until we feel like we're ready to do that. So those are my 2 options. It's probably not a lot of help at the moment because I'm still, as I said, completely undecided, but I just wanted to let you guys know where my mind was at with the whole new starting of 1.17. And of course, I would like to know your opinions as well. Which of those 2 would you prefer? Of course, the final decision is going to come down to me and how I'm feeling when 1.17 does actually come out, but I would like to know what you guys are thinking too. I've only got 1 rocket left, I can't mess this up. Perfect. Right into the campfire. So there is our school, everybody, looking rather school-like, at least for the era we're setting up in, which honestly, come to think about it, I don't really know what that is. I guess medieval would probably be the closest. Yeah, I would say medieval. That's probably what you guys have always assumed anyway. But let's go take a closer look at our school and use our final rockets. Now, I don't really need to show you everything we've done here because, well, the time-lapse was pretty slow. You could probably see most of everything that I was doing. But I've been seeing a couple of comments over the past few weeks recently, messing up my words here, just asking if in these episodes I could just every now and again mention some just general building tips as we make things here. So I will try to do that more often from here on out, but here's a couple for you. The first thing I'm going to say is about barrels and just general other utility blocks like looms, or maybe not stone cutters, the more normal cube-like ones. So barrels and looms, for example, they're actually super duper helpful for building, especially if you have a block palette similar to mine. So if you have spruce, you can use a barrel 100%. It goes very well. And what I've actually done here is got the upside down texture of the barrel, so it's not facing upwards like that. I've instead basically shoved myself under this trapdoor here and placed it upside down, just so it doesn't really look like a barrel. It instead just looks like a different decorative block, and I love using these. I do this all the time. And the other thing I'm going to tell you guys is if you are building a roof with an outline of spruce like I have here, as well as in the rest of the village, always bring along spruce trapdoors to use too, alongside the stairs, the slabs, and the full blocks, because they are just the most helpful block in the game. This is actually my favorite block in the game by far. It has such a wide range of uses, but it's really helpful for roofs. If you just take a look at some of the others throughout the rest of the village, you can see there's some wacky shapes going on here, but it works. And that's mainly because of the spruce trapdoor. It just allows you to have a lot more freedom when it comes to building a roof outline. So if I maybe replace these slabs here with replace the trapdoors with slabs, sorry, if I could just get them back. If I did that and that, you can see that side looks better, doesn't it? Now, obviously, if you're building on a pretty large scale, yeah, you don't really need to use the trapdoors. These are more for smaller and more detailed builds. But yeah, spruce trapdoors, always bring them along. It just allows you to do things that you may not be able to do with a slab or a stair or a full block. It just gives you another extra, I guess, block to use for your roof design. So yeah, if you're using spruce, make use of the spruce trapdoor. It is the best block in the game, in my opinion. We're going to have to be quick here as the sun is rapidly descending beneath the horizon and it's going to get dark here real quick, but we are now going to start work on the interior. And we're going to do this one step at a time. Well, there's only really going to be two steps. One is to lay out all of the rooms and the next is to furnish it. And basically what we're going to be doing with the rooms here is having 4 separate ones. We're going to sort of have 2 smaller rooms off to the side here, not like that. It's going to be a bit more like that shape. And we'll start out here with a corridor. Oh man, it's real dark outside, gotta be quick. And turn this brick shape that we have here into a staircase, which will lead out or lead up to the second floor where the main classroom is going to be. So I've got to make the ceiling look nice and pretty, the floors and all of the other walls, and just as I always do with my interiors, smooth things out first and then we can get to furnishing with some different items. But first, bedtime, and now is a bad time to run out of rockets. Usually I just fly to the nearest bed, but I'm going to have to climb all the way to the top of the town hall here and take a nap here instead. We have some rooms and a very low ceiling at the entrance here. I am so very close to hitting my head on this trapdoor, but this is a school. The children should be able to slide under nicely. Maybe not so much for the teacher. So at the start here we have our central corridor, and as you can see I've kind of made the floor pattern to highlight the aspect of the corridor leading from one side to the other. That's what a corridor does. I just thought that was a fun little floor design and something you can do with rotating the oak planks here. I do that often. So upstairs, I guess we'll start here first. We have where the main classroom is going to be, all nicely smoothed out and ready to go. I have placed in the lanterns just so we don't get mobs spawning up here. And then we have these individual slots on the walls of the corridor, which we will probably put something in just a second. And then finally, we have 2 separate smaller rooms here that are completely identical. So let me clear out my inventory a bit because it is a massive mess at the moment, as well as this shulker box. So I'm going to take all of this home and then gather up our interior decorations. So I've made a start on the upper level classroom here, and this probably looks pretty strange without any explanation. These are our table and desks, or chairs and desks I should say. Usually when I'm making a desk design I would just do something like a spruce fence with a pressure plate on top, but we have very limited room here and it would connect to the back of the stair, which I didn't really want. So you're gonna have to use your imagination with this, but I'm imagining that this sign here, the actual sign part of it, this bit right here, would turn horizontally and then lay flat to make a nice little table for the children to sit at. So imagine there is some movement in these signs and then it probably doesn't look quite as weird. So this is where all of the kids are going to be staying. Is it nighttime? It's getting there. Man, days go by so quickly. And then the teacher will of course be at the front. So if we have our lectern there where we can put our book and quill in, and then we're just going to have 2 looms beside it, which of course look like a set of drawers, especially in my custom texture pack. I added in those 4 pixels there just as a bit of a handle. And then I think if we get a flower pot with something to go inside of it, just like that, and then maybe on the other loom, just to kind of cover up the top here, we're going to have an item frame with some paper inside. Maybe this is the children's homework. Okay, I once again need to go to bed. The night has been slept away. We just got a few final details to go for this top level. We're going to add some flower pots up there next to the windows, and also we need to do something about this safety hazard here. We don't want the children falling down but from behind their chairs down the staircase, so we're just going to line this with trapdoors just to make a bit of a railing to stop that from happening. Obviously, the children are never going to come up here. This isn't Techtopia, the villagers aren't smart enough, but if that were to be a real, I need to say kitchen then, no, classroom. Don't know why kitchen was in my mind, but if it were to be a real classroom, they're not going to fall and, you know, break a leg. Oh, that is really cool. So I just need some more bookshelves for the school, and I came and traded with my librarians here in my villager trading ship, and this is my Feather Falling 4 guy, and his second book trade has turned out to be Depth Strider 3, which is another enchantment I use on my boots here. So that is really cool. If I happen to need you, you are a 2-in-1 deal, unless one of these others are already Depth Strider 3. Oh, okay. Well, I guess you're not needed anymore. I could always, you know, but I won't. You get to live another day. And yes, I did just make a whip sound effect for a sword. That was definitely intentional. So, shall we decorate the hallway here a little bit? We're going to do something super simple here. Just going to grab these blocks to begin with and place them in all 4 of our slots just next to the trapdoors. So we'll have a crate over here, aka a note block. Maybe a barrel over here. Our loom can go just here, which is actually important because on top of this one is where the lantern's going to be going. And then the final one can maybe just be a spare lectern for the teacher's desk. Maybe it gets broken in an incident and they need another one. Probably not, but hey ho, we got it there in case. And then finally, 2 chests on top of the barrels and the crates. And I think that is it for the corridor. As for the 2 smaller rooms here, these are going to be turned into individual one-on-one classrooms. So we're basically going to be making a single desk in the middle, just like this. This is the usual desk design that I do, or table, whatever you want to call it. A couple of chairs either side, and then of course we're going to need some reading material, a lantern on top. Nope, I want it on top of the bookshelf, not hanging from the brick, to stop mob spawning in here, and then finally a chest just beside it. So a super simple... Is that the pressure plate doing that? It is indeed. Okay, try not to walk on the table, otherwise the room kind of breaks and falls apart. But yeah, that's just our simple one-on-one classroom. I can now repeat it over on this side too. And that is the school all done inside and out as far as the building is concerned. This is done, but I want to build the playground just beside it, which is technically going to be a part of the school. So we're not done just yet. Now, the trouble is, how do you build a playground in Minecraft? Obviously, you know, you want things like a slide, a roundabout, What else is there? Swings we can have on a playground. It's been a while since I've been in a playground, believe it or not. So I may have a look around online just to see what type of stuff would have existed in a medieval playground, although those probably didn't really exist. But yeah, I'm going to have a think, see if I can come up with some designs or possibly see what some other people are doing, if I can find any cool ones. And yeah, we're going to get this playground all built up. And just like that, we have ourselves a miniature playground, only consisting of 3 activities. I did try and make a 4th, which was actually hopscotch. I tried using item frames and colored concrete to represent the numbers, but it looked a little bit weird and out of place. Plus, it was right in front of our swing set here, and that is just an accident waiting to happen, if you ask me. So we've got some swings, we got a seesaw, and we also have some monkey bars over here. And I think that is actually gonna be enough. I don't really want to overdo it. We had a pretty small area to start off with here. The only thing I may do, not right now, because there's probably going to be some sort of path that comes through this to get to this door, but the only thing I may do is just add a little bit of texture into the floor, you know, roughen up with some path blocks and some coarse dirt, but for right now, I'm gonna leave it be as it is. So that's all the work we're going to be doing on the village here for today, which leaves us 3 more episodes to get all of these buildings done, all of the pathways and every other small detail within this half of the village, which is pretty daunting, I must say. This is a lot of work and not a whole lot of time, but with some persistence and your guys' help with some ideas as I requested earlier, thank you in advance for all of those, by the way. I'm sure the comments are filled with some wonderful ones. It's going to be possible. I think we can get it done. I really do. It's going to be a bit of a grind, hopefully not too much of a rush, and it should still be an enjoyable process, but I really do want to get this done by episode 49, and I'm confident that we will. Fingers crossed. There is one final thing I would like to do before we say goodbye for today, which is to actually head round the side of this mountain here and check out what we did last episode, which is this automatic wool farm, which is just going crazy with the drops here. Let me show you. I'm definitely not being sarcastic at all. This chest is full to the brim. I haven't been over here a lot, I'll be honest. I don't think it's in render distance when I'm in the village. In fact, I know it's not. It's way too far away. But when I'm nearby, it's okay. It's a plentiful amount for what I need. So what we're going to be doing here is not just checking it out, in case you missed the last episode. We're going to be making one small modification, which is actually something I suggested in the episode, and a handful of you seemed to agree with me on it, and no one disagreed. So what we're going to be doing is changing the front layer of these glass blocks to each of their respective colors inside. So this one right here, oh man, I'm bad with colors. I picked one. What's one that I know? This one. This one is going to be grey glass for the grey sheep. Slight issue here. My custom texture pack has come back to bite me in the butt. I don't really want to use our custom black stained glass for the black sheep. So I think what we will just do is maybe double up on the grey glass. It's actually too thick glass. So maybe if we have 2 lots of dark grey, that might help, or we'll just have to have 2 grey at the bottom and hope nobody notices, even though I've just told all of you. Yep, that is definitely a much needed change. It looks a whole lot better, adds a lot more color to our wool farm. Good addition in my opinion. Thank you for those who suggested it. But that, everybody, is actually going to be it for today's episode. Of course, next time round we will be back working on our custom village here, hoping to make some good progress. I'm thinking we're going to do something that I already have in mind, because I'm not sure whether I would have seen your comments by the time I make the video. So I'm thinking what I'm going to start planning ahead on is our mining area, the little house beside it, and then the inn, and possibly a couple of others here or there. But yeah, that is what we're going to do next time. Something over here at least. Not sure on the specifics for certain. But thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the school, wherever it is. There it is behind me there. As well as the playground. And I hope you're looking forward to the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.